Well, weekly.
Yeah, here, just we're live. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining us. We're just doing our weekly meeting, so you guys can check it out. So, yeah, Jamar. So we're doing that contest, that information I sent to you. So today we're doing live dials, and the focus on is just getting one call closes. Okay, so just doing it by either telesales or Zoom. For today and tomorrow, and then if you're in the field or doing Zoom on Wednesday. So schedule's a little bit different than it is this week. So we're competing against another team within AOG. So there's actually 500 in leads that he's going to do our lunch. So what I'll do is we'll probably try to figure out maybe who had the highest either sales or whatever or activity, and then they'll do the lunch. Because I mean, nobody's at a meeting site. Everybody's at just the house. So I know he's doing it probably for the whole team, but I'll just see how he wants to do it, since everybody's in a different area. So yeah. So I actually got one today. That was my first telesales in a while.
Awesome.
So yeah, that was cool. So lady was, so what I did was I sent and I know there's a couple other ways, but I sent my my badge with my state ID, and then I sent my driver's license. And the biggest thing she said was, "Hey, that's real professional." You know what I'm saying? So once she said that, it's pretty much good from there. So an AIG is really easy to do that. AIG is really easy to do that. That signature when you send it by DocuSign. So that makes it really, really easy. So that was cool. So hopefully I got a couple callbacks today. So hopefully you can get some one call closes. So I'm able to call like maybe some older leads, some leads that are maybe farther away, and try to get those, as telesales. So do you still have a ton of those ones down at the beach?
I actually just started reaching out to them
a
few days ago, and I'm following up later this evening. Speaking of a telesale, my last one was with Aetna, and this lady and her husband, I have been trying to call them for ever since August.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and of course, this was the day and this was the time that was set forth to get it done, but we got it done, gratefully.
Nice. That was just recently?
Yeah, that was a recent policy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Those are always cool. I mean, I think they're the coolest ones because, and it's funny because they say that they're the hardest ones. The telesales or Zoom, or telesales is the hardest one. And they said, obviously the face-to-face is the easiest, but I think it's so cool to be able to do that, especially when you're sitting at the house or, you're doing your dials anyway. I think it's a great way to not have to get in the car, drive. And a lot of times, you do that. And let's say the person doesn't show up, unless you dial during that time, you'll lose all that time. So, make sure I add. Okay, perfect. All right, guys. So, and also, I was just going over with Jamar, kind of what we're doing, and we're live on we're live on a couple different platforms. So, yeah. So, guys, and also, if anybody is interested in joining FFL, you have my text information, 717-414-8015. We have Jamar in Virginia. We got Keith in Maryland, and we got Esther in Arizona. So we can actually join any part of the country. So if you like what we're doing or like what we're talking about, definitely feel free to text me. I'm also on Instagram, john.knight.9047, and on LinkedIn, just under my name, and Harrisburg, PA is what it'll be linked to. So, guys, just send me your activity numbers, because Neil's giving out 500 in leads. I think it's at the end of this, and then he's also doing a lunch. So what I'll try to do is whoever has the best activity, unless he wants to split up a lunch or something based on who we're competing against, and then just let me know how you're doing, like with your telesales or what sales you get. So we're basically almost like moving our Thursday to tomorrow with that schedule I sent. Here, let me look at it real quick. So dialing dialing today until 12. They had that kind of breakout meeting. If you had any questions, and he's just doing it in one of the breakout rooms, and all you have to do is just join the breakout. Excuse me, join the breakout room. Okay. We'll go off after at 3 for that Andrew Taylor leadership call. I'm going to send you guys that link. That way you can just see how the call goes. Okay. That's something we want to do, and you'll be surprised at all the new stuff that comes on with that call. Okay.
Yeah, definitely like to see that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's incredible because you get this chance to see like from a different scope and kind of what his thought process is with different things that are going on in the industry and new things that are coming about. Okay, so we'll have a breakout from, and I'll say like 4 to 5. So then that's when dialing and handling objections. Then 5 to 8 will be like new agents, and like you can do a warm transfer if you feel like you want to do a warm transfer to me. I'm not going to take a split on it, but if you need help or something with somebody, maybe he's giving you an issue or something. Sometimes it can be like, and I would just use this. Hey, I want to make sure I'm going to call my partner just to make sure I did everything I could. Let's say they're just stonewalling you on something. And just sometimes it can just take another person, just speaking to that person to get it, taken care of. Okay. So, like I said, I won't take no split or anything. I just want to get you to get your sale. Okay. Or help the family. So then Tuesday is going to be the same thing, 8 a.m. to, I'm saying 7:30, 8 a.m. to 12, dialing and booking appointments for in-person and virtual on Wednesday. Okay. And then you'll share 12 to 1. He's going to show us how to share the opportunity. And then you lunch 1 to 2. This is Tuesday. And then 2 to 7, we're going to have that break off. And I don't know if that'll probably be in like maybe the breakout rooms. Okay. And then, let's see, and then do a recap, obviously, from 7 to 8 about your door knocks updates. And then Wednesday is the actual field day. So Wednesday, flying out to Boca Raton. I should be in, as long as my flight's not delayed or anything, I'm going to go to Manuel's office because FFL, ATL Money Team is actually a part of us. Okay. They just kind of run their own operation. That's why they don't jump on the calls, but hopefully we can merge and it can be a part of some of the calls too. So that'll kind of be. So then he says door knocks with proof of photo. So just every time you door knock, I would just take a photo of the front of the door and maybe the piece of paper that you're going to. Presentations, when you do a presentation, and then family's protected. Okay, and then he's going to have like I said, $500 in leads for the highest activity. But I like it because it's something different, and it just gives us a chance to have more activity. And I tell you, I went to a restaurant, right? A restaurant I used to work at, and it was nice because I know you guys weren't able to come down, but it was cool to be able to go somewhere outside of my house and actually get focused for like 4 or 5 hours because I don't think I've been able to do that. I think in the whole time I've been with FFL because I always have stuff that's going on. So it's nice to be able to have, time to be able to actually focus on what I need to do. And it was cool because I think I got a lot more done than I would have. So definitely I want to obviously open an office soon because I know the difference is like huge. It's huge. So that's something that's something I've always been working on, but today it even made it more real that I do need to do it. Even just in that environment was great. So yeah. So just look for that soon. I'm going to be working. I mean, I already have a place I've been looking at, but I need to really put it in place soon within the next, I'd say 90 days. Okay. So what else? I want to guys, just let me know your numbers, like what your, how many dials you made, appointments, all that stuff, just so I can keep track of it for us to be able to be in the running for that, for those leads. And then I think there was something else I needed to. Did you guys have any other questions or had any things that you had questions on?
You said you're in Florida now.
No. I'm in Chambersburg.
Oh, yeah,
I'm gonna be in Florida. I fly out on the 9th. Okay, so Wednesday. So I'm gonna go to when I fly out. I have a 5-hour layover in Atlanta. So I'm gonna go to Emmanuel's office, and hopefully I'll have a couple Um, I'll have a couple phone appointments where I can do in the manual's office. Okay. And then just try to help them as much as I can while I'm there. And then I'll still assist you guys. If you have any questions or anything, I'll still be able to assist you. And I'll be there probably about 2 hours, and I'm gonna run to the airport to go to Boca, or to go to Fort Lauderdale, so then I can go to Boca. So, and then once I get to the hotel, then I probably could jump back on the phone and still do some dials and stuff, and try to set some more phone appointments up too. So then tomorrow, then that next day will be the road to integrity meeting from 8 to 12. And then maybe guys, I might be able to have maybe we might be able to do something with Sean Mike. I mean, we'll try, you know what I'm saying? So, because I know he's been wanting to do some podcast with people, so I don't know how that'll look with his schedule. I don't have to fly out until I want to think 6 or something like that. So I'll try to hang around that office until I got to run to the airport. I just have all my stuff with me. So,
do you know if they'll be able to what the stream link will be, or if they'll be streaming for a Tuesday?
Yeah, I can open it up for Tuesday.
Or I mean, like the whole for the Chambersburg.
You mean for what, this link right here?
Yeah.
Or I mean, yeah, because this one, I mean, I can open it up. I just have to ask Neil how to do it. But I mean, I can leave it open most of the day. As long as I log on, then I can leave it open most of the day. I don't know if I'm gonna have to ask him how to if you're able to like list somebody else as a host, that way.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. So Tuesday. What other things do you guys have? I'm just trying to think of. I keep thinking there was something else I wanted to tell you guys. Esther, I want to have you train on the IUL for Mutual of Omaha, and either that one, or either Keith or you train on that one, and then vice versa on the Foresters IUL, because I know or the UL, because I know you guys have been selling a lot of those. So I'd like to maybe do a training either next week or the week after. One of you guys to do.
Well, I actually I have somebody that I'm speaking to about that, just to make sure that I have everything tied up the way that it should be, because I mean, like I said to you before, I don't do a lot of the illustrations, for some of those, just because of my state. But I do have someone that I'm going to be talking to about that later on today. So I'll definitely, take some notes on that. And I think it's just more about making sure that, whatever presentation you're giving to people is enough for them not to be confused about what it actually does and what it doesn't do. You know what I mean? So that makes a big difference, because you don't want to be misleading, even with those, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of details that you can leave out. And then the other thing I was telling you was that there was a guy that I was talking to with Athene about those annuities, because I feel like that's another thing where, we try to stay out of really, super explaining things, but sometimes there are clients that need that, especially when you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? So it's one thing when it's just 20,000, 10,000, maybe somebody doesn't really care too much about that because they wouldn't know what to do with it otherwise. But when you're talking a couple 100,000, I know I want to know every step of it. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what you did to try to get the money, or what you had been through anyway. So I'm actually supposed to be talking to him later on today.
Yeah. Well, it's not as difficult as you think, you know what I'm saying, in terms of letting them know, because the packet that they give you for Athene, when you send it to AMS, it goes through the whole thing.
Right.
And it's good that you're talking to, if you're talking to Will, is Will the one going to talk to you, or is it the guy from Athene?
No, I think his name is Jake, actually.
Okay. Yeah. But either one, but they'll actually walk you through actually how all that works. And all they're basically showing you is the bonus that they might get. Let's say that lady with 500,000, they might have a bonus for her for like 60 or 50,000. Okay. Just for moving it over, you know what I mean? Which makes it a no-brainer right there. And then what's going to happen is they're going to show you what would happen if nothing happens with the market. And usually that's almost never, right? And then if you're getting 5 or 6%, okay, or 3%, and it just kind of goes through,
Right.
you know, how the money's going to accumulate. And it's right with I'll have to show it to you later, but it's real
Yeah,
easy.
I mean,
Yeah.
I did a review with one of those before, and maybe that guy was just a little bit more difficult, but I just don't want to find myself, you know, talking in circles. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, so. I would have them the first couple of times. Like even what we did was when I did that one with Bridget, we had Will on call. So we said, hey, Will, could you be like on call during this time that we're going to have this meeting? So what happened was anytime something came up that we weren't sure how to answer, we just called him and he actually explained it to you. Because obviously sometimes when you're talking about dollar cost average, when you explain it to them and you're not sure and they explain it to them, they understand exactly what they're saying. You know, like I used to do that with with Aflac. Like if it was something about the billing, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't always understand how they're billing. Well, I knew it was in the arrears, but I would call Aflac, let the Aflac person that does it every day explain it to them, you know, because they know exactly what they're talking about.
Right.
And then it never was like a question of, oh, John, I didn't know what was going on, because then it's the person that actually deals with it every day, you know, until you get, you know, comfortable with it.
Exactly.
But, yeah. But I would definitely use them. And, you know, once you do that a couple of times, it'll be simple. But the biggest thing is I'd still get in touch with the EMS team, because when you do the application through I think it's Firelight, it actually sends it to them before it goes to Athene. That way it scrubs it, so that way it doesn't get kicked back. Okay. So that's why you want to have the AMS team working with you, because when you do your first one, they'll look for anything that that might cause it not to go through. Okay. And they'll alert you before it goes to Athene, and which is the nice thing about what the AMS team does. Okay. Because you actually do your application through Firelight. It fills it all out for you, but they scrub it first before it goes to Athene.
Gotcha.
Okay.
No, the person you're talking about is with that person's with
Will's with
AMS.
Will's with AMS. Will Rogers. He's also the one that when you're first starting with Athene, he actually goes over like all your information, make sure like you know the resources, the videos, all that stuff. And he's really good. Now Bridget will be the one that Bridget or one of the people there will kind of walk you through that application or walk you through the process. But he's really good in terms of like if you have questions or where you are on the application, he can answer that for you until you get comfortable with it. So I would at least, you know, reach out to them and make sure that you know, at least get in touch with Will, because he does an awesome job.
Right.
I really like him.
What's his do you have his contact number?
Let me pull it up. I know it's in my email here.
So does AMS just connect you to the guy?
Yeah. So what happens is AMS is basically the bridge between you and like Athene and all the other carriers. So what happens is like when you submit your first annuity through Athene, they actually scrub that application for you. That way it doesn't get kicked back. Because there's things called, even though the person might qualify for, obviously everybody qualifies for the Athene annuity, but they sometimes don't make sure it's suitable for them, like they have other assets. You know what I'm saying? So that's like where you have to make sure that you make suitability. So they'll ask different questions about what other assets that they have, you know, just in case the person needs to, let's say, access something else, you know. So that's one thing that could get it kicked out, even though everybody will qualify it because it's not based on health. They have to make sure it's suitable for that person. Okay, they call it suitability. So, well, okay.
For annuities, so for like if somebody has their money in a 401k, don't they have to be to like a certain age before they can move it?
What, the annuities?
If somebody has money in a 401k that they want to move, like say from like a past employer that they're not with anymore, don't they have to be like a certain age before they can move it for like the different tax purposes and penalties and stuff like that?
I believe that they don't have to, and you want to check with the MS team, but I believe that as long as you transfer it to another account, okay, and you don't use any of the money, there shouldn't be any tax ramifications about pulling it out because you're still moving it to another retirement vehicle, or you're not actually using the money. So I don't believe that there's
there
an age.
there isn't.
Right.
I don't
Yeah, I
think.
don't believe there's an age limit.
Yeah.
As long as you're not using that money, then you won't get penalized as long as it goes into another retirement vehicle. But like I said, that's a question that you want to ask for the AMS team. But I believe that's you don't pay any penalty because you're moving it to another type of vehicle. Okay.
Yeah. Because the guy that helped out the other day, he said he has a couple 401ks, and he said he's interested in doing something with it. But he said he didn't really know what he said. He had like 43,000 in one of them.
Okay.
The other one, he said he really had no idea. So
yeah. So all you need is at least 10, and you can do a fixed index annuity. Okay, so at least 10,000 in one. So even if he has at least 40,000, and he has a couple in other ones, then he should be good in terms of doing that. But obviously he has some other assets, so you're good there. Okay, so let me pull up Will's.
Yeah, and I was about to ask. Oh yeah, so when they say a statement, does it not just pretty much mean like what their balance is in that? Like, account? Is that pretty much all it means?
Yeah. It's just usually when you have a 401k, or you have any type of investments, like if you have stocks or something, usually they send you like one every month or every quarter to let you know how your investments are doing. So you just want to get a statement of one of those, like
actual printed statement of it, or like just what the last number was.
Yeah, what the last one was, because obviously it's going to change every day. But the last one that they have, you just get that. You send it to the AMS team, and then they'll actually tell you based on, like, you'll ask the customer, were you more interested in growing your plan or being able to protect your retirement? And then they'll give you the plan that makes the most sense, based on what they want to do.
And is it typically, is it usually most people get the annuity that pays them out? Does it pay out like on a weekly or a monthly basis? Or
usually monthly. Usually
monthly.
Yeah. And I think depending on what the person wants to do, or I think that it also can get paid annually. You know what I'm saying? Where they just pay the amount out annually. But you can ask them, because a lot of times with the statement, it just shows the annual amount, but I believe that they can do it either monthly or annually, or probably quarterly too.
Oh, yeah, and I mean like when somebody chooses the kind of annuity that they want to do.
Yeah.
Do most people do they choose the annuity that pays them out and does it pay it out on a monthly basis or like a bi-weekly basis? Like which one?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If once they pick the annuity, usually they can have, because it's basically like monthly money. Okay. Yeah. But I imagine that they could also do it yearly. They probably want to do it monthly, so they don't probably, if a person that's a spender, that if they want to do it, if they do it monthly, then they can kind of control those costs because they're just doing a monthly cost or monthly income. Okay. Than someone that does it annually. But I know on the actual when they show the illustration shows what they're actually getting for the year. Okay. Per year. But
yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
what I've seen.
So I'm sure they can do it monthly and maybe bi-weekly too if they ask for it. You know what I'm saying? But that would be a question for like Will or the AMS team when you're doing your annuity, because that never really came up. But I'm imagining monthly. And usually what happens is, like, when you hear like the Agility 7, Agility 10, is they're keeping it in there, right? They're they might only be taking like 5 or 10% out, okay? And they might not actually be taking like the actual money for like 7 to 10 years, okay? So then that way it also builds that interest up on that amount, and then they can turn it into like the monthly money. But what they'll do is they'll allow them to take anywhere from like 5 to 10% for that first 7 or 10 years of the full amount, okay, without any penalties, okay. But if they take more than 5 to 10%, then they pay what's called surrender charges, okay. So you want to have them pay, if somebody's going to keep it in there for a little while and they just need to take 5 to 10% out, that's usually what they do with those Agility 7s or Agility 10s. So, but they'll actually go over that, and you can ask any questions about that. But that's usually what they're doing when they're taking out those. A period of time, it's going to be almost like kind of like in a holding period. They can take part of it out, but 5 or 10%, that amount, and then with no penalty. And then after they reach that time, then they can actually have it start coming out as an income, whether monthly, biweekly, or yearly, depending on what they set up. Okay. And then the nice thing about the annuity, let's say that the person sets up the annuity and die. Okay. You all the money would go to their beneficiary that's in the annuity. So unless they have an option where that person could take the annuity and start annuitizing it for them, usually all the money that's in the annuity would go to the beneficiary. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And so how many years is it usually? So it's called annuitizing when the money starts paying them out, right?
Yes.
Okay. And how many years does that usually take?
Like I said, from the time you usually set it up, that's why they call it like agility 7, agility 10, because that's how many years you're going to be waiting before you can actually do the annuitize, and usually what you can do is you can still take money out, but it's like 5 to 10% of the full balance. Okay. Without any extra charges. Okay. And then after that, then they can actually start taking it out, every year or whatever. But it actually shows on the illustration how much they would have left with the death benefit. All that thing is on that the illustration. Okay. And like I said, everything I'm talking about, always go over it with them because they do it every day. But I'm just trying to kind of give you a brief of how it usually works. And I'm still pulling up that guy's info.
Right. But isn't there a type of annuity that sometimes when people do it, that they get it to annuitize like right away? Like
there's an option like that. You just you let them know that they want to get income immediately, then that's the option that they'll give you when you send the information over to the AMS team. When you go under that ask a specialist, like right before you go into the CRM, it'll give you all those options to put like, hey, what this person wants to do, what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. And then when they email you back, then they'll say, hey Keith, this is what we feel like would be helpful for you. And if it's something that's not right, then you can always tell them, hey, this person wants the immediate income, right after they move it over, and then they can tell you the product that works the best.
I think that's the biggest thing that you find with a lot of people that don't want to do, some of those annuities. Maybe it's a suggestion that they take a portion of their money and put it into something like that, because people still want to feel like they have access to their money. They shouldn't put the whole thing in there unless they're looking at, I'm going to let this thing sit for 10 years and I'm not going to touch anything. But, when people get these emergency situations, they want to be able to take money out. And for a lot of them, you're not going to see the type of return. You're not going to see the growth that you want to see if you're constantly going to be taken from it. And like whenever you do those trainings, Keith, for Athene, there's like 10 of them or 7, something like that. But you have to go through all of those and they take a test at the end to make sure you understand agility 7, agility 10, all this kind of stuff, the strong performance, whatever it is. And so you have to go through that. But with a lot of these, I don't know if it's the same because some of the IULs have it where if you're taking money out in the first, second, third year, there's interest rates that you're paying on those loans. So the longer you leave it alone, like somebody has an IUL and they let it grow for 10 years, okay, your interest rate might only be 2%. But if you're like, oh no, I got to take that money out in a year, I'm going to need that money, we're going to fall on hard times, then, you're going to be in a situation where that interest rate could be 7%. It could be 10% or something like that. So that's the other side of it too. Maybe they just need to take a portion of it and put it in and see how it grows versus the full amount.
So and that's a good point that Esther made, but just keep in mind that they can take some of it out, but it's only going to be 5 to 10%.
Yep.
Because they usually say, hey, you can take out 5 to 10% without any penalties. Okay. And the penalty is like the surrender charges. Okay. So as long as if they take any money out, they already have it built in that, hey, if you take in 10% out, this is what obviously, is how that's going to look. And she's right. The more obviously you take out, the less you're going to get your gains because you want to have as much in there as possible. But if the person does want to pull money out of there, they can take as much as 5 to 10%. So just let them be aware of that. Hey, it's not completely locked up. You do have some options to take out, but be aware of that. And then also ask them what that looks like if the person is taking 10% out every year, how does that look for their gains? Is the gain still around the same, or is it going to be different?
Hey Esther, so don't you have to like have a case for a theme before you can get contracted with them? Isn't that how it works? Or
well, so I had one, and I went through the whole process with those guys, and actually I got contracted with Athene before I even had cases. I mean, I had a writing number, but I had to register for AMS, and then Athene has you do all of those trainings on their products and everything. And then I was ready to go after that. But yeah, I mean, it was like kind of like a cram, because I had a presentation for a guy, and it didn't go the best because the guy thought that he knew everything. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. And he was kind of upset because he said that the money didn't have the growth that he was seeing in the stock market, which it's kind of funny. I was telling John, this guy's from Chicago, and I don't know, like he was a church man, and somehow they're making all this money through the stock market. I'm like, really? Like, how is that possible? But yeah, so you have to go through all of that stuff. But like he said, then they show you how to do the application in AMS. Like they go through everything. I don't spend enough time in there, but that's definitely the place to be, just to kind of get all of that information. But yeah, you can get contracted with them. John, I think, got me contracted.
Yeah. Like it was supposed to, like, right in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever? I thought we put it in for you to get contracted with them.
That was right around the Great Western debacle. That
that mess.
Yeah, I never did. Yeah.
Did you never? You never did?
No.
Okay. I keep thinking that. I think you can still get contracted without a case. I know they said for like NLG and some of the other ones you had to have a case, but I don't believe Athene's that way. I'll email Danielle and copy.
You don't have to be. I got contracted. What you'd have to do is just send them an email. Go to fflams.com and then send them an email, and then they will forward you the appointment information back. It does take about 2 weeks to get contracted, so it's better to get it done versus getting a case, and then you have to wait 2 weeks to do that, and then another week to get your scenario back.
Absolutely. And usually 2 to 3 days, usually a day and a half, they usually hit you back with what the case will be. But that's a good point, Jamar, about getting it done, because I mean, when you're asking that golden question, you're meeting with people all the time. I mean, you never know who has what, and you want to be ready to go, especially with them.
Athene's usually the go-to annuity carrier, right? Is there a license too? But
but a lot of times if the AMS team thinks it's something better, and then also as you get more experience, they might give you another one that they feel makes more sense based on the situation. Usually the IULs can be a wide range of ones. Yeah,
I was just going to say.
Yeah, go ahead, Esther.
They also have that weekly training with David Allen and
Nicole. Thank you.
I watched that every Monday night, but sometimes you might set aside the time to watch it, and they don't do the meeting for like till later. So if you want, I didn't mean to do that broadcast live, but anyways, if you want to do it, make sure that you're doing something else. So that you're not sitting there wasting time, so that you're trying to be efficient, because like I said, they're in the field and they're working, and sometimes they don't meet on time, so it might be 30 minutes or whatever.
That is a great point, because one of the girls that organizes that just sent me a message about putting me on their list for either emails when that goes on, because I always forget about when that meeting is going on. But what he was saying is that David Allen does that meeting. You said 6, right, Jamar?
Yes, it's every Monday night at 6 p.m.
Okay.
So it's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So in the if you not Google, but go into the Facebook group and search David Allen's name, you'll see the information for that meeting. And if you want, you can get on Nicole's text message.
That's it.
I'll look for that and I will put that in the chat. Okay,
cool. Yeah, because she just actually hit me yesterday about that. But that's David Allen. I met him at convention. Really nice guy. He said, if anybody ever needs help to reach it. He's also a guy now. If you call somebody like David Allen, he might want to split, which is fine. But I mean, he knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever need like somebody that's within FFL that's highly knowledgeable. He is very high. I think he did. I want to think he did a couple million last year, just in annuities. But I know he hit Hall of Fame, based on that, and also his, writing his life policy. But he does a ton. And he's actually in Pittsburgh.
Yes,
and he's actually moving back to California, right?
He does want to split. They did mention that. They mentioned that in the meetings. And what they have is like a pilot program. Of course, you can do it yourself, but if the way he looks at it as, which is, it's fine. The way he looks at it as is that if he's going to train you and coach you, he just wants a small percentage of it. But once you do 4 or 5 of them, you won't need him. That's just the price of him because he's busy and his time. You're making up for that, and also you're not really on his team, so that's where that works.
But I mean, it's almost like paying a mentor.
Yeah,
a mentor,
absolutely.
Yeah, a mentor. A lot of people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to mentors, and I know, but it's gonna make your ramp up period so much faster, especially if, let's say, it's a situation where you can't get the EMS team, you do have something you need to get through pretty quickly, and you can reach out to him and he can help you.
What's his name?
David Allen.
David Allen. Okay.
Yeah.
John, I'm going to text that to you, and then you can forward it into the group message. I had to come off of that because my phone is just ringing with group messages.
No, that's fine.
I had to step away from that group stuff. You can forward it to the group.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. Yeah, that his series will definitely help. Like I say, he's one of the top guys that's doing it in FFL. So, and that's really good for us because one of those annuity hits is a big hit, usually 6% of the annuity. And I think it actually grows. The commission gets higher from there, or is it more? Jamar?
I don't know.
I think it's 6%.
I'm getting excited when you said the number. That's
6%. Yeah, 6%. So if you think about, like, Esther has one that's 500,000, right?
Jeez.
That she's looking at, right? So 500,000 times 0.06. That's like 30 grand. So like,
that's why they call you money.
Yeah. So, and it's a nice, like I said, it's a nice hit. It's a nice hit. Yeah. And that's why Sean Rosario talks so much about the golden question, because he knows you can make another 100 to a couple hundred grand just off of annuities. And it's just, because like I said, I had one that was 300,000. I didn't get it, but if I'd have worked with this lady's lost, she's taken out since that time. She had 300,000. She's taken out another 120. And this lady, I mean, she still has a mortgage and stuff like that, I believe. And she's going to probably run out of money. If she, because I mean, they were going to give her a $60,000 bonus with it, but she was just all over the place because her husband died, and she just kind of couldn't wrap her brain around doing, I guess, because of grief, which I can understand. But there's some things that you got to just do because you're the only one making money now, and just because that amount's there, all it takes is a dip in the stock market, like this whole thing with Ukraine, and people are losing like a lot of money. So it's like now is the time for people to be able to do it. And now you even say, hey, look, if we get into a conflict with Russia too, then the stock market could go crazy. So it's like, you need to do this now. You can't be waiting. And you might have made some money with Apple, but we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because the one guy's like, yeah, I did some bad things. I invested in Apple. Well, any conflict, or if China gets involved, you just never know, So that's why this golden question and being able to look for this annuity money is so big, because now that when anything happens in the world, it affects the stock market, So what else, guys? But I'm glad you made that point, Jamar. That was one thing that I wanted to go over with the team, is about David Allen's weekly call. Just like he said, yeah, that's big. Because, man, I think that's what actually got. So Andrew Taylor, it was two things. He went out to a meeting in Palm Springs because Paul McLean wasn't able to go because it was too far, I guess. He had something he was doing, so he didn't want to go all the way out to Palm Springs. So he sent Andrew, right? Andrew met this lady, and I think he did like $1 million and or two, some big number. Don't quote me on it, but it put so much money in his bank, and it actually caused him to be able to push his team further because he got like 50 or 60,000 between the annuity and the life insurance. So yeah, so
Crazy.
yeah, I know it is, but it happens every day if you're willing to go out there. And sometimes, like I said, you know, traveling a long ways or doing somebody that's kind of out of the way, and you're like, I don't know if I should do it. Always do it, because you just never know what might come out of it. And you know, Paul McLean's like Andrew, you know, because you know they're always competing. So he's probably like, guess what, Paul? You know.
I think the biggest thing that you need to share with them is that he did lose that, but then he got it back.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he explained that he got the lady. I think it was he was moving the money over from another. I don't know if it was another. It was a money market person, I think. And when he moved it over, the money market person convinced her to keep the money in there.
No.
So he went back and represented himself. So when you're presenting it, I guess the main thing is you want to be able to communicate it, the benefits of it. Because I think he stated that he didn't really communicate it effectively. But the second time, that's what led him to keep the business on the books.
Wow. And that's a good point and a good lesson, because I think you're kind of always fighting that person that's the financial person, or, you know, that they have with it. Like, I know her issue was like, hey, I need to go back to the guy. But the point that I'm making is like, if this guy was so great for you, then why didn't he offer you a $60,000 bonus? That would be my question. You know, if he cares so much about you, why didn't he offer you something like this? Because I know he has a life insurance license and can sell annuities. Why didn't he offer you something that gives you a $60,000 bonus? Because he knows what situation you're in, you know, and you'll probably end up running out of money, you know. So, but it's the fact that they're getting fees every time that person's moving money over.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what they want to keep, is getting those fees, you know.
You know what they said? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
So somebody was saying, and I was looking at this on YouTube, but they were saying that a lot of these people, investors, they're always telling people what to do with their money, but a lot of them don't even have like $1 million. Like, they haven't even made $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
But they're telling everybody else, oh, do this, invest in that. And like I told you, that guy that I was dealing with, the older guy that was telling me that he would never do an annuity. And he's like, oh, I'll always have money to spend and all this other kind of stuff. I mean, he was running down on everything that was going on and how he was losing a lot of money and he was cashing out this and that. And I don't even think he has $1 million, you know? No. So. No.
Yeah. And a lot of people that, you know, you think have money don't have money, you know. It's always the person that you think don't have anything is the one that has the most, you know, and the one who's talking is the quietest too, you know. So a lot of times not the one that's always bragging about what they got, you know. It's somebody else that's not saying two words.
Is it the house that you pull up to where it's like a broken down trailer?
Yeah, it's a broken down trailer. It's a broken down trailer with all the stuff in there, Jamar. Remember with the guy with everything in there? It's like, oh my goodness.
Hey, we're live.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah.
But to answer your question, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So what else, guys? I'm trying to think of anything else. So, excited about that Road to Integrity meeting. I feel like that's going to be eye-opening again, just about kind of what our end game is, because and not really our end game, because like I feel like when I was at my practice company, I'm working hard to obviously be able to provide for my family, but it's not like there's a plan in place to be able to put them in another stratosphere, you know what I'm saying? Or to be able to take care of your family for like a long time, or like generations, you know? And that's why, you know, it's good to know something like that. Because technically, you know, we're in the other company, we're just trying to figure out how to get as much renewals as possible, right? And build as much income as possible, get as many groups as possible. But there's never like a way to sell it, because they're saying that they can sell it to their friend, but it's only how much that friend wants to pay. And it's technically really theirs anyway, because technically they're all that company's accounts. They're not actually yours. Where here, they're actually our book of business, you know what I mean? Instead of a recycled book of business. So that's what's you know, going to be pretty powerful, you know, in that meeting. So excited about that, and just try to bring back as much information we can. And so what else? What else?
Real quick, guys.
Go ahead.
Is there any way, like, you know, because I know there's a lot of these different trainings that are going on. a lot of us, either we're busy, maybe you're meeting with people or you're on the phone or something like that. Is there any way that we can utilize, and John, I know you do that with the text message thread that we have, sending reminders, because it's
yeah.
great, if you know this stuff, or if you hear about it, or maybe there's a notification that comes through Slack. But like for some of us, like for me, if I'm calling or if I have appointments that I book closer to the end of the day, like with this annuity training, I mean, I've been trying to get on one of those, but with my timeline, the time change, some of the other stuff, it doesn't always work out,
So
the way that I
I'll
want
reach
it
out
to.
to that. Jamar was talking about Nicole. She just reached out to me yesterday, about being on the text thread on that. So that way they can remind us on that meeting every Monday, because I know I need it too. I'll put it on my calendar, but you still need that sometimes reminder, just because you got so many meetings going on or something runs over. And even if you can pop it up on your screen while you're still doing your meeting, you can still at least grasp some of that information, So yeah, I'll say something to her while I'm on there, and I'll forward you her profile too. That way you can reach out. But I should be able to just add your phone number, and she could just add it to the text thread, because she just sent it to me the other day, or to yesterday actually. So
yeah. Hey, and I was gonna say, one thing that I want to do too is that once because I'm glad that you kind of put this guy out here for AMS, because I'm gonna talk to him, because I do have that presentation on the 18th for that lady. That's the 500,000 one, but also I just kind of want to be able to also role play it, because I think that it's good to kind of do it with the team. That way someone's like, well, did you mention this? Or it really sounds like you know what you're talking about, because that's one thing that I've noticed, especially now. People are super concerned about their money. Like, I don't want to ever feel not confident about what it is that I'm saying. And I get that's going to happen, but I just feel like, we have to kind of role reverse here. You know what I'm saying?
This is the thing though. Every time, and this is with, with you helping people with life insurance and also helping people with anything, you're not going to have the person that's always like the person that questions everything, doesn't believe anything you say, always about, the stock market and everything. Sometimes that's your worst experience, and that's where, the AMS team can help you just with the verbiage and talking to that person, and you can bring them in to help you with that type of person, because you always have that person that, is very analytical, wants to know every number, and that's why I add that AMS team, because, obviously we're not going to school for that. So, but they can help you and support you. And the biggest thing is that as long as your intention is to be able to help that person, you're never going to be 100% perfect. As long as you got the main gist and you're giving them all the information, you're not hiding anything, which I know you're not going to do. You know what I'm saying? So, as long as you do that, that person will see that you're genuine coming through. Now, there's some people that no matter what you say, they're not going to do anything with you just because of whatever. It's their issue. It's not usually yours, that they're not going to do something, or they're dead set on their financial, or they just want unrealistic expectations. They want Bitcoin money where you're making 56. Only if you get in at the right time and you bought 10 years ago or whatever, are you going to get this type of the gains consistently. But if you're going to get gains consistently, is you're going to be more conservative, and I want to be conservative, because I'm not going to be like your Bernie Madoff, where I'm telling you that you're going to get 50% and you're not. Let's face it.
Yeah,
unless
no,
you happen to get in this. Yeah, unless you have.
And they even talk about the recovery time that it takes whenever you take a loss on your money in the stock market is a lot longer than what it is to just have done more of a conservative growth over time.
And most of the time, people never get it back.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, because they don't have the stomach, and that's why Warren Buffett has been so successful, because he understands what he knows ins and outs of what he's buying. He knows it's something people are using every day. That's why for so long he didn't invest in computers or anything, Apple or anything, because he wanted to know it was something tangible and it wasn't going to be like almost like a fad. But as Apple built their portfolio and got so strong with cash, he couldn't deny it, and that's the reason why he's put money into it. But and he actually owns those companies, that he's working with, so it's not like he's just obviously buying the stock. He also owns a heavy part of those companies. But most people don't have the stomach emotionally to deal with what's going to happen in the market. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like, basically when everybody's greedy, I'm selling. You know what I'm saying? So and then when everybody's selling, I'm greedy. And that's usually people running out of the market. He's buying. So, but most people don't have the stomach to deal with that, and they get too emotional about something instead of saying, "Hey, this is the number I got to go to, and I got to sell at this number." Instead of saying, "Well, the number will go higher. At some point, it's going to go lower." So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that's why they call it the annuity or the fixed index annuity, the sleep well at night plan. And that's another thing you can tell people, hey, you can sleep well at night because you know that your money's protected instead of you having to worry about.
What is that?
That's
I'm sorry.
Jackie's putting away plates. I'm sitting in the kitchen. So,
Sorry.
so it's
Okay.
all good. It's all good. So it's the sleep well at night plan. So that way you don't have to worry about that's one thing that you can also say is, hey, it's a sleep well at night plan. You can take advantage of the gains with the market, but you don't have to worry about the losses, so you can sleep well at night. So that's another way to be able to talk about the fixed index annuity,
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
And then I always use a lot of people know about these two things. Bobby Bonilla, right? Every July 7th, look up Bobby Bonilla. He's a baseball player, right? So what they did was they wanted to pay Bobby. They owed him like $25 million. So what they did was they gave him an annuity. So every January, I think it's January 25th or something, he gets $1 million, and he's been getting it for like 25 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so powerful because everybody knows. They always publicize it on the media about the fact that he's getting this $1 million every year. And he hasn't played baseball in like 25 years, but he's getting this $1 million because they made the deal with him about it. And then Babe Ruth is another one that had a bunch of annuities, and he always had money, even though everybody thought that he was just spending and crazy, but he was putting a lot of his money in annuities. So those are two things that people can identify with that are famous people that, can give them a good example about annuities.
Okay.
All right. So, like I said, this week will be a little different. But like I said, just let me know your numbers, like how many, calls you had, appointments, all that type of thing. So we can make sure you're in it for the, for any of the drawings that he's doing.
For the day.
Yeah, for the day. And then for tomorrow when you're doing them too, same deal. And then for, once you go out on Wednesday, when you're doing your meet, because basically it's like he's almost changing the Thursday to Wednesday, you know what I'm saying, for this contest. So yeah. All right.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, let me know if you guys need anything or I can help you with anything. Okay.
Have a safe flight. Have a good
All
trip.
right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. And I'll
Take
send you
care.
that, guys. I'll send you that information on Andrew's call and just, log in. It's usually at 3. Okay.
Okay.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right,
I'll
great.
talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.